By now you would have seen the on-location photos from King's Cross showing that they've officially wrapped the filming of Season 1 for the HBO series of Harry Potter. And so pretty soon we're probably going to start seeing rumours or leaks or even maybe full-on announcements of the new cast members for Season 2, The Chamber of Secrets. And this is an interesting one, right? So let's jump straight into it. I was initially going to make a full video about all of the characters or main characters from each book and who I could see being cast, and it's taking a long time to work on, so I need to kind of get ahead of myself. So we'll start with just Season 2, and it's interesting because we already have quite a few people from Season 2 cast during Season 1. We have Johnny Flynn playing Lucius Malfoy, which is one of the first new characters to appear in this movie. And then we also have Bertie Carvel, who's cast as Cornelius Fudge. I always found it really interesting that Cornelius Fudge's casting had been announced so early. It's just interesting. I don't know how they're going to play that off, but he's here. We've already got him announced, as well as our new Lucius. So with those two names out there, there's actually only a couple of new major characters that we meet. We've got our new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Gilderoy Lockhart. We've got Arthur Weasley. And we have Dobby. Oh, and I can't forget, we've also got Moaning Myrtle and Tom Riddle himself. So there's a few things to talk about here with these characters, and these are the ones we're really going to focus on today. Let's start with Gilderoy Lockhart. In the original series, he was played by Kenneth Branagh. Kenneth Branagh did a great job of being Gilderoy. Really powerful actor. If you've never seen Blue-Eyed Samurai, he plays the main antagonist in that. It is just voice acting, but it is an amazing job. You should really go and check that out.
My country's history is one of manufactured suffering. I was a boy when the Tudors burned any food the rebels under O'Neill might think to eat. We starved. Everyone starved. Mouths on the dead stained green from chewing nettles. You get resourceful in a famine. My parents died early, left me and my sister catching rats. The rats ran out quick, fed my sister on my blood, kept her alive an extra 2 weeks. I didn't sleep for 3 days to protect her body from the starving till the ground thawed. I cut out her kidneys and buried her. Fat cap on them like a pea. I haven't eaten a single meal since my mind didn't go to that bite. It was the last thing I ever did because I had to. I control my life now.
What I like to do in these videos is to also compare to the Audible voice cast as well for the Harry Potter fully voice cast audiobooks. And in that we had Kit Harington, who did a wonderful job.
It can't be Harry Potter.
Kit really just knocked it out of the park. He played Gilderoy with a lot of gusto and a lot of passion, and it's a shame really that he doesn't match the description of Gilderoy Lockhart, because we know that they wouldn't cast somebody who's not book accurate. And so because he doesn't have the blue eyes or the blonde hair, that kind of rules him out from that point of view. They could always chuck a blonde wig on him. If we look at Kenneth Branagh, I think he actually had brown eyes as well, so that might be one way to get past it. However, I do have some other contenders that I think might be quite plausible. The first one is Robert Sheehan.
Fire the furnaces, and the ore is building entire cities, homes for people. Places for people to live, to work, to trade, do you see? And there are secrets within that I shall have. You wouldn't deny me these things. I am getting a Cyclops, though. Isn't that right, Minister Coulter?
Oh, yes, Emperor. We have hunters in the forests of Nordheim and Grithium right now. They will not fail.
Now that is real progress.
Who is an Irish actor that you probably remember from Misfits, if you ever saw that. It was a great show back in the day, for the first 2 seasons anyway, which coincide with Sheehan's appearance on there.
I had a real sort of a suspicion of being typecast, you know. And when people turned around to me were like, I can't believe you would have left. I was like, what do you mean? Of course I was going to leave, you know. I was only contracted for 2 series.
He was also in the Umbrella Academy as well, which he did a great job. So he's got a bit of range there. He's usually the annoying character from a, like, purposely aware that he's annoying and kind of aware that he's being that character, if that makes sense.
What the hell are you doing?
It's just pure mindless vandalism.
What is the matter with you? Are you mentally deficient?
If I was mentally deficient, I would have missed. Check that out. Bullseye.
If you've seen Misfits, you know what I mean. Whereas Gilderoy Lockhart is a little bit more unaware and seems to think everyone finds him impressive. And I think that Robert has the range to really pull that off. He is a bit younger, which might make things a little bit interesting. No, he's not. He's 38. He's the same age as me. Maybe that will work. I mean, he looks like the kind of person that Molly Weasley would crush over. It makes sense that Molly Weasley probably liked somebody just a little bit lower than her age. And with this younger Molly Weasley, it makes sense that we have sort of a crush on a celebrity that is up and coming. So Robert Sheehan would be my initial pick, which I think would be great. And then the other option that I've sourced out for us all is Tom Rhys-Harris, who I don't know too much about what he's done. He's been in a couple of movies in the past, but his main one that's coming up is this year's surprise DC villain flick, which is Clayface. And I'd never heard of him before I saw the Clayface trailer. I watched a couple of interviews with him. He's sort of a Welsh background, so he's got he can have that range, and he is a lot younger than Robert Sheehan. He's only 33 years old. However, he does look a little bit more timeless, a little bit older. He could probably pass for the range of somewhere up even to the 40s.
My name's Tom Rhys-Harris, and we're here with Barbara International Unlocked to talk about my work, career, and unlocking my psyche.
But he's also got the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and the very chiseled jawline. So I think that face on the front of a book might do a good job of being our Gilderoy Lockhart. He's also got an arrogance about him as well, in the way that he looks. Anyway, Tom Rhys-Harris, another potential name that I'll throw out there. I didn't want to throw too many. Let's now move on to Arthur Weasley. So Arthur Weasley is described in the books as being tall and having thinning, balding hair, and his age isn't really described, but you'd imagine that he's the same age as Molly is in her very early 40s. So they went to school together, and so I have two options. One of them is a little bit of an older range, and that's Damian Lewis. Damian Lewis is a British actor. He's recently been in a movie called Fackham Hall.
Now, before you embark on this new life, I want to give you something that my mother gave Prudence on our wedding day. It's a necklace box.
Which, funnily enough, has Tom Felton in it as well. So he's worked with some of the Harry Potter cast in the past. I've also found an interview where he's sitting next to Marion Margoyles, and he just kind of has the right look because he's a ginger, I guess. He's not really thinning, but they can work with that. They didn't have Arthur thinning at all in the movie saga, so who knows? I think he just has the right kind of, look. He's a bit pinched, he's a bit thinner, and that could go really well with the description that we have there. He usually plays a tough guy or a strong guy. He's been in Homeland, he's been in Band of Brothers, but in Fackham Hall he's a little bit more comedic and a little bit more silly, and so I think that's what we need from Arthur Weasley for the first 4 books, and then the 5th book where he starts to step up. It would be cool to see the transformation as he becomes more responsible and gets a better role in the ministry and that sort of thing. I think Damian Lewis might pull that off quite well. And then the other actor that I've got here is Kevin McKidd. Kevin McKidd, I know him from Grey's Anatomy from back in the day. He's been in a few other things. He played Poseidon in the original Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief movie, and he was also the voice of Merida's father in Brave. So he's a Scottish actor. He can, I think, quite easily pull off a British accent, as he's done that in several other movies. He's done an American accent. He can do it all. He can tone it up or tone it down depending on what they want Arthur to sound like, but I think traditionally Arthur and Molly and the Weasleys are sort of a southern country accent from what we've learned in the audiobooks. And talking about the audiobooks, because we do have a casting there as well, which is Simon Pegg.
Mr. Weasley blinked.
Well, dear, I think you'll find that he would be quite within the law to do that, even if he maybe would have done better to tell his wife the truth.
I think the two problems with Simon Pegg is he's such a big name, and then he's quite a bit more senior than the actress for Molly. So he's about 10 years older. McKidd's probably the one of these 3 actors who's closest in age to Molly. And even then, it's quite a stretch. But what Simon Pegg gets right is he's got not really thinning hair, but he's got that receding hairline. I think he's probably safe, or safer than me at least. He's got that pinched look. He's a little bit of usually a small and weedy guy, but he can do the tough guy. You've all seen Hot Fuzz. He can do funny and he can do silly. And what's more is that he and Nick Frost are best buds in real life, so they usually end up in projects together.
You got your part first in the film, and then is it true you got Nick the part?
No, I didn't. I suggested that what happened was I went to meet Steven Spielberg, and he, the whole thing was I went along to be a writer on the film, and Steven said, well, why don't you be in it? You're an actor, and said about the Thompson twins, and he said, is there an actor you work well with and like? Yeah, him.
And it would be really great to see giant Nick Frost as Hagrid standing next to Arthur Weasley when they meet in Diagon Alley at the beginning of the second book. So we know he can do it. Would he do it is the other question. He's already done the audiobook, but this is a huge commitment. It's not just a couple of weeks of reading dialogue from a book. It's actually a commitment over, as John Lithgow said, over the next 10 years. So Simon Pegg is the top pick, but not the likely one, I don't think. Next up, let's talk about Dobby. I'm not going to do too much into this because it could be anybody that plays Dobby, really. He's just a voice, but I really do think that Danny Mays nailed Dobby in the Audible Harry Potter series. He did such a great job.
You shall not harm Harry Potter.
Every time, because I get the ads all the time on YouTube at the moment, every time I get Danny Mays saying that he's the voice of Dobby, it's always like, I have to go back and listen to Dobby because it's so different. He pulls off Dobby really good, and I think they do some pitch shifting and things like that, but yeah, Danny Mays, Dobby, happy with that. I'm not going to go into Moaning Myrtle or any of I think all the Hufflepuff characters that we meet in the books and the Ravenclaws that we meet that get sort of presented throughout the Dueling Club and all of the drama, they've already been cast, so we've already got our Ernie Macmillan, our Hannah Abbott, Dennis, the kid that thinks Harry's trying to attack him because he's a half-blood, etc., etc. Colin Creevey is a new character, and Moaning Myrtle is a new character as well. I'm not going to speculate on who they're going to cast because it's going to be a kid. Hopefully for Moaning Myrtle's case as well, it'll be a kid because the lady that they cast for her in the movies, while brilliant, it's just led to some questionable scenes when you have all the context.
Not being a bad boy again, are you, Harry?
But there is one kid we can talk about, and that is Tom Riddle. And I've heard rumours about this as well, so there might be some substance behind this, but Owen Cooper, who played Jamie Miller in Netflix's 4-part TV show Adolescence, has been rumoured to be involved in some way or another. Now, I don't know how solid this is, but there are people who have noticed that a lot of the cast from the TV show, like the kids who have their own Instagram accounts, have started following Owen on his Instagram and vice versa, so he's followed them back. Now, it might just be that because the showrunners have some sort of relationship with Adolescence, he might have come on set, he might be a Harry Potter fan, or it could be something a bit deeper, like he's been actually cast for this next step. And I think a lot of people are speculating that he could be Voldemort, or not Voldemort, but Tom Riddle. I think this would make a lot of sense. He's now 16 years old, so he's aged up more than the kind of current character ages are. It's possible that they might be looking at him as a Cedric Diggory as well. Too early to tell really, because he mostly comes to the forefront in the third book, but they might want him in the background or to give him some places as they go. So it might be too soon to say, but I think given the context and the subject matter of Adolescence and the way that he played that character, it's possible that they could be looking at him for a Tom Riddle character. And so this would be quite interesting to see, because Tom Riddle has been played, before he actually transitions into Lord Voldemort, Tom Riddle was played by 3 different actors, I believe, throughout the Harry Potter series. We had Tom Riddle pre-Hogwarts in the Half-Blood Prince, then we had Tom Riddle as a 16-year-old in that same movie, but we also had the Tom Riddle from the Diary, who was the same age, who appears in the Chamber of Secrets. And when Chamber of Secrets came out, Half-Blood Prince wasn't even printed, so there was no knowledge of what other parts he would play, whereas now we've got a full timeline of everything that's going to happen with this character. And if they were going to use Owen as this character, they could film his scenes for the Chamber of Secrets, which would be coming up this year as they enter filming for that series, and at the same time they could film his parts where he's speaking to Professor Slughorn in his office. They might even go a bit further and film the actual footage of him murdering his own father and his grandparents, or like meeting his uncle Mavalo, and all of the other things that he does at that age when he's going around learning about Horcruxes and killing people to make them. Wonderful holiday project for young Tom. This would be a really great idea to do now, even if they haven't thought about Slughorn or honed in on a particular actor, or if they made a commitment already and they haven't announced it and they're going to hopefully have them locked in and then things change. They can always use a little bit of movie magic to do some really clever blocking and compositing of the shot so that Tom can be talking to somebody off scene, and then we can cut to new footage once we land on that Horace Slughorn actor. Or even better, if they can get the commitment from somebody now, they could film him now, and then in 6 or 7 years' time when they come back to film the rest of that series in the present day, he will have actually naturally aged up a couple of years as well, which might help sell the difference between the two time periods. The one thing they can't do is I don't think that Owen would be a very convincing 10 or 11-year-old starting his first year at Hogwarts, so they may have to find somebody who looks like him but younger, which is very easy to do, or they might take the Stranger Things approach and digitally age him down and give everyone nightmare fuel, but that could be fitting for Voldemort's first appearance in the chronological timeline. Anyway, these are just some ideas I wanted to chuck out. I think I've been talking for long enough now, so I will leave you all with my thoughts and feelings and open it up to you to share who you would see logically being in these roles, and then who you'd like to see as well. Make sure to follow the channel if you want to see more Harry Potter content in the future, or if you want to see some other stuff, here's a video of mine that you would most likely want to see. That's all from me. See you next time.
Hello?
Very clearly the bones are not broken.
Broken? There's no bones left!
Jesus!
Sorry!